Ahoy there, folks! I'm Captain Benzie, and welcome back to another video for EVE Online. With Havoc just under a week away, I wanted to talk about how you can repair your standings with the Angel Cartel or the Guristas Pirates in order to be able to sign up for the new pirate faction warfare that's coming as part of Havoc. If you're not sure what I'm talking about, I have just done a video talking about all the new pirate incursions and how that's going to work. Today we're going to be focusing purely on how you can repair your standings with them to make sure that you're able to run that content when it launches on November 14th. If you find this video useful or enjoyable, please let me know the usual way. Drop a like, leave a comment, all that kind of stuff really helps the channel out, teaches YouTube basically to recommend my content to more people, and I just love talking with you folks and hearing what you're enjoying in the game and what you think about what I've presented in the video. If you do want to go the extra mile to support the channel financially, I've got a PayPal tip jar that you can drop a little donation into, or you can pledge to support on my Patreon and get your name in the stars at the end of every video. Finally, if you are new to EVE Online, or heck, if you just haven't used a referral code before, head down to the description below, click my referral link, you'll get 1 million free skill points to use on your account, and while you're down there, click the Catskull Community Discord as well. Come join us, have a chat there. If you fancy joining Catskull in-game, that's where you make your application. Right, so what have I been up to this week? Well, with Havoc right around the corner, I decided that I wanted to be able to fly with the Angel Cartel in the new Havoc expansion. With all the stuff going on in Lowsec and the war zones, I wanted not just to be able to do Guristas, but also to be able to do Angel Cartel. However, you need to be at least -2 with the Angel Cartel in your standings in order to be able to fly with them. Now, to find your standings, if you open up your character sheet and head to Interactions and Standings, you will come to this page here, and we can scroll up and down this and see what your different standings are with different factions. Now, here on the Guristas Pirates, you can see I'm at -0.3. That means I'm actually more than enough to be able to do faction warfare, which is -2.0 or above. So anywhere above this line, and you can do faction warfare with them. Obviously, the higher you go, the more of these different bits and pieces you get to add into that as well. Angel Cartel, on the other hand, oh boy, I'm all the way down at -4.52. That nearly puts me at the attacked in space area, which I really don't want to be. I want to be able to pull this right up above that -2.0 line so that I can run these. Now remember, most factions aren't just the one faction. They are subdivided into different parts of that faction. And if I scroll down the list here, somewhere down here, there should be some of the ones I've been working on here. Like, there we are, Archangels, 2.45. Now, with Archangels, I'm actually a lot better than I would be otherwise. My standing towards them is 2.45. That's a lot better than, obviously, the -4 point whatever it was with the Angel Cartel. I'm working on reaching up here to level 3. I need 3.0 to be able to access this, because then that will give me the Epic Arc. Now, there are other ways to reach the Epic Arc as well, and we'll talk about more of those in a second, but first of all, why would you even want the Epic Arc? Well, the Epic Arc is a brilliant way to get yourself a lot of additional standings with a faction. In fact, it's been buffed as part of the run-up towards Havoc as a way to make sure that you can get that additional bit of standings that you're going to need in order to run with the pirates in faction warfare. So again, if I come back up to, where are we? Lost it now, Guristas Pirates, there we are. You can see I'm away off the Epic Arc here as well with them. Interestingly enough, though, I do have access to the Guristas Pirates Epic Arc. And how do we find this? Well, we're going to come back across here to the Agency. Let's talk about how now you can get these. If you go into Agents and Missions, and we go into Epic Arcs, here on the left-hand side, you've got a scroll bit that you can go up and down, and find different Epic Arcs. Obviously, the Bloodstained Stars, the Sisters of Eve one, we've talked about this before on the channel, worth doing this every 90 days, because it gets you excellent standings increase with either Galente, Minmatar, Amar, or Caldari, depending on who you select in the final couple of missions. That said, you can see here, I've got Smash and Grab, which is the Guristas Pirates one. How have I managed that when I don't have standings with Guristas Pirates? If we go back here, you can see Guristas Pirates, if I click on that, Epic Arc's all the way up here at 3.0. I'm all the way down here at -0.3. So how does that work? Basically, if we click on this, you'll see that I've got this here with Federal Intelligence Office. I have enough standings with the Federal Intelligence Office to get this one off the ground and running with them, so I can actually do it by that way. It does mean I can't just fly out to Gurus to space and start the Epic Arc. I have to do it via the Federal Intelligence Office, which is currently 31 jumps away, but it is there as a possibility. What about the Angel Cartel? Well, here, I do have the option of training up with this particular faction, the Amar Navy in Zendaya. Now, if I go back to the look over here, for example, where are we? Amar Navy, they'll be down under corporations here somewhere. I may not have standings with them if I've not actually done anything with them. Should check this kind of stuff before doing the video. But anyway, we can have a look at the Amar Empire. So if I go up here to Amar Empire, you can see here my standings with them are also pretty low. If we have a look in, there's a bit down here somewhere, derived standings. There we are. We can talk about the different factions and how they work alongside each other. Member Corps, that's what we're looking for. Amar Navy. And if I go show info on that one and have a look at standings, you can see I'm still down at minus 1.23 here, or 1.6 with the Amar Navy. I'm not willing to grind up Amar Navy for this to 3 because that's running missions for the Amar Navy, and that just goes against everything I stand for. Admittedly, it's going to be the easier way to do it, right? Definitely the easier way because it's the shorter grind, and I can do that in high sec or low sec by working with the Amar Navy there. To understand this, I can actually come back here to the Agents and Missions tab here. And if we go left into Mission Agents and Security Agents, we can actually filter by these. So I can go Amar Empire and Amar Navy, and you can see here I've got level 2 agents available with them. I think. Let's check this here. Yeah, I can't do the level 4 or the level 5 stuff. They're too high. They are redded out because I don't have enough standings with them. But I can do level 2 with the Amar Empire, and that'd be a good way to actually go up quite quickly with those. And you can see where your nearest station here is 28 jumps away. I can right-click that and set destination to go out there and fly with them. Now, I don't want to do that, though, because for me, as a Minmatar player, I don't personally enjoy the Amar. I don't want to do stuff for the Amar. It's a personal role-playing side of things, but, you know, it's worth bearing in mind. If I go to Angel Cartel, though, you can see here, let's turn off the ignore standings. I've only got level 1 missions available, but I can come out to where I currently am and run missions for them here to increase my standings. You can also go for any corp if you want to choose a particular one of these. I've got decent standings with most of them, just the Archangels are who I'm running for at the moment. And at the time, yes, again, my Angel Cartel standings are low, but by the time I get the Epic Arc up, I can start pulling that up really, really quickly. And until then, I've got decent Archangels standings, which will help with this. Now, there are skills that you can train into this. Criminal Connections is a skill that will help you if you're training going straight for something like the Archangels or the Gurustas Pirates. If you're going in via the Empire routes like the Amar Navy or the Federal Investigation Bureau, that kind of thing, rather than Criminal Connections, you're just going to want Connections trained. Derived standings we don't need to worry about. Special missions we don't need to worry about at this point in time. But where do we find those in the skill book? Well, let's open that up. If we go into social skills here, you've got connections, skill at interacting with friendly NPCs, 4% modifier to effective standing from friendly NPC corporations and factions per level, not cumulative with diplomacy or criminal connections. This will apply for things like the Amar Navy, Federal Investigation Bureau, Amatar, that kind of thing. Any of the friendly NPC Empire-based stuff will work there. Criminal Connections, on the other hand, is the same thing, but purely based for the pirate faction. So this is the one you're going to want to actually train. I did actually push this up to 5 just to get as much as I could out of it, worth having a look into. So what's diplomacy? Well, diplomacy is interacting with hostile agents in order to de-escalate tense situations. 4% modified per level to effective standing towards hostile agents, not cumulative with connections or criminal connections. So if you're trying to work with agents who are actively hostile to you, like the Angel Cartel would be to me if it weren't, you know, divided into the different sub-factions, if, for example, the Archangels were -2, then diplomacy is going to work for you. It's also worth looking into negotiation because you get additional pay for the missions out of this. 5% additional pay per skill level trained into this. Can be quite expensive. I've got it up to 3 at the moment. I do have 4 in the queue currently, nearly trained 1 day, 6 hours. Social skill, also kind of useful. Skill at social interaction, 5% bonus per level to NPC agent, corporation, and faction standing increase. This is the one you get first. Max out social, then go to connections or criminal connections based on which route you are taking. Remember, connections, if you're going the Empire route, where the Epic Arc is you basically infiltrating the Angel Cartel or the Gurustas Pirates. criminal connections if you just want to go out to nullsec and start running missions for that pirate faction directly to build up your standings directly with them, which is the route I have chosen. Now, what am I using for this? Because these are level 1 agents, it's really easy to run these missions. You don't need an expensive or, particularly high tier ship, but I am currently running a stiletto. Why a stiletto when I could use something like a rifter or a wolf or a jaguar and get higher DPS? Simply put, I want that interdiction nullifier. The area that I'm running missions in often has interdiction sphere gate camps. I don't want to run into those, or if I do encounter one of those, I want to be able to escape it. So I just wanted any combat ship that I could fit an interdiction nullifier to. I will put this fit in the description down below. I'll give a brief rundown of it in a second, but essentially, anything that can do combat and run an interdiction nullifier will work. That can be anything from the different interceptors for each of the factions. You could theoretically use something like an Astero, a Metamorphosis, Pacifier. Those are all options. Pacifier actually could be an interesting one due to how its standings gains works and things like that. But for me, it was an excuse to fly the Stiletto. I like this ship. It's a really cool ship. I like the slasher hull in general, but the fact that when this one warps, the wings actually fold forward made me squee a little bit the first time I saw it. And for 51 million ISK, 52 million ISK, this didn't feel like a bad fit. I've gone here for a couple of 200mm autocannon 2s, autocannon 2s for the 200mm autocannon 2s for the higher DPS possibility. I'm mainly using Hail, but I do also carry Republic Fleet phased plasma and barrage in case I ever need them. Try not to carry too much though. Some of these missions do require as much as 60 cubic meters of cargo space, and the Stiletto here doesn't have all that much cargo hold, so you do have to bear that in mind. I'm using a 1 meganewton compact afterburner because I didn't want to go with a micro warp drive. One, I didn't have the CPU for the micro warp drive, unless I really dropped a load of other stuff elsewhere. And two, the capacitor stability was a big issue. That reduction to your max capacitor really hurt the Stiletto quite badly in terms of PvE. Yeah, for PvP, absolutely, you'd use the micro warp drive. But for PvE, this is fast enough to close the gap. I then turn off the afterburner once I'm close to what I'm shooting at so that I don't massively overshoot and, find myself unable to track targets. On the subject of tracking targets, fleeting compact stasis Weberfire, again, just increases my ability to hit things. I've got a Thuka small cap battery just to help stabilize things. This could just be a standard small lead acid, to be fair. It is usually enough just to get the cap stability as you need it. You don't need cap stability. You just need a few moments to be able to run the shield booster effectively without just draining yourself in seconds. And that means a small C5L compact shield booster is what we're using for that. All three of my lows are counterbalanced compact gyro stabilizers just to push that DPS up as high as I can. We're signature tanking with this for the most part, so I don't need things like DCUs or that down here. And then in the rigs, small projectile burst aerator 2 for additional DPS, and small capacitor control circuit just to help keep that as best as possible. But again, this could be swapped even for something like auxiliary thrusters. You can play with the rigs to whatever you fancy. If you were using one of the other interceptors, like the Crow, for example, basically go for decent DPS in the high slots, a little bit of tank in the mids. Make sure you've got the interdiction nullifier. That was kind of the first thing that I wanted. Good DPS, good survivability, and that interdiction nullifier is more than sufficient. I've yet to encounter any mission that proved even remotely difficult for this fit to run. They've all gone really quickly, really, really easily. And I have had to dodge one interdiction sphere once already doing this. Not a problem. Came out really, really quickly and easily. Landed in a drag bubble that someone had set up, activated the interdiction nullifier, and was out of that bubble long before they caught me. It's an interceptor. It's supposed to be hard to catch, right? You could theoretically drop the one of the counterbalance gyro stabilizers, for example, and drop in something like, if I were to, swap one of these around, you could drop in something like your nanos or inertial stabilizers to get slightly faster align time. We've got a 5-second align time here, which does feel a little bit high, but again, you can that's with the afterburner on for starters, so it's a 4-second align time. If you drop one of these out for something like an inertial stabilizer, you can get that down to sub 3 seconds, which makes you incredibly hard to catch, and you don't lose all that much DPS. About 4-5 DPS in total, dropping down to that point. So that is something you can do. I've just not had the need to so far. I'm pretty aware of using dscan and local to check whether there could be a gate camp nearby. But if you're not overly comfortable doing that, yeah, just swap these out for some inertial stabilizers. Let's actually do that now. Here, if I go inertial stabilizers, just try type D first of all. There we are. We're sub 3 second align time just by dropping one of those. So absolutely, that's a fit you could use there. And at this point, actually, we've dropped the CPU quite dramatically as well. We could swap other bits around, all kinds of stuff you can do with this, just a basic starting point. And I'd love to hear what you guys do in the comment section down below. Anyway, folks, that's about it for today. Not a big, long one, just how do you actually get to the epic arcs, and then how do you start running them? What kind of ship do you need? And something like this, a Tech 2 Interceptor, will do nicely. If you are willing to risk a ship, then a destroyer will do it even better, but obviously you just have the issue of gate camps. Just be aware that if you get caught in a gate camp in a destroyer, you may lose that ship. But if you're running it in something like, say, a Thrasher Fleet issue, they're not overly expensive, a bit more expensive than what I've got here, but it's up to you. It's kind of up to you. They're not particularly hard epic arcs. And if you're interested, I will put a video together when I get that epic arc of me actually running it, maybe like a let's play or something. Let me know in the comment section if that sounds interesting to you. Never done something like that for Eve before, so could be a very different type of content. Might do it just to see how people respond, but expect it to be a long video. So it could be boring as all hell, but some folks might enjoy it. Let me know. Anyway, folks, thank you for watching this one right the way through to the end. Happy sailing and see you in New Eden.